Welcome back. Today we are doing a full makeup masterclass. Now I'm not a professional, but I've been doing my makeup for a while. People always ask me to do their makeup. I get compliments on it, and brands send me a lot of makeup to try in PR packages. So I wanted to make one super detailed, thorough makeup routine. This is my go-to makeup routine that I use every day. I'd consider this like a soft glam, natural glam, somewhere within that realm. But yeah, we got a lot to cover, so let's go ahead and get into it. Before you touch any makeup, you want to do skin prep. Skin prep is key. So I like to use either the Black Girl Sunscreen or CeraVe Daily Lotion to moisturize. I use one or the other, not both at the same time, one or the other. But I like these in particular because they absorb quickly in the skin and they're lightweight. You don't want to use a super thick, greasy moisturizer because it will affect how your makeup lays. I went in with the CeraVe moisturizer, let that dry down, so now we can start. Step one for me is always eyes. Any eye makeup, I like to do that and get that out the way. That way if I mess up, I just have to wipe off the eye makeup and not a full face underneath it. For my brows, I use the Morphe Definer Brow Pencil in the shade Chocolate Mousse. I'm literally underlining, just outlining my brow. I'm not overdrawing it, I'm just outlining the natural shape. I kind of like to extend the tail of my brow just a little bit, just to make it a little bit sharper. If you make a mistake, you can literally just wipe it off with your finger and restart. Brows are outlined. Now I'm just gonna go in with like pencil hair strokes to kind of fill them in and darken them up. The base of the brow, I try not to make it super dark because that's just not how natural brows really look. So I'll go in very lightly at the front, but once I start making it towards the middle and the tail of the brow, that's when I try to get the more pigment. Why can't I talk? That's when I try to get more pigment. With the spoolie end, I'm just brushing over my brows. This will help get rid of any harsh lines. All right, brows are done, let's lock them in. I use the Rare Beauty Brow Gel. What is this really called? Flexible Lifting Gel. Okay. I thought it had a longer name than that, but I guess not. This is probably the best brow gel that I've ever used though. I've tried a lot of brow gels, and I feel like they leave your brows crispy, or they flake and give you like a white cast. This one, I've had no issues with it. Like, I've bought this over and over again. And I'm just brushing my brows in place. Let's move on to the waterline. I like to use the Rare Beauty Gel Eyeliner. Rare Beauty for the win today. Like, they have really good products. Perfect Strokes Longwear Gel Eyeliner in the shade True Black. So I'm just gonna put that in my waterline. And I gotta really focus for this because I will poke myself in the eye. What I really like about this pencil is that the tip is very fine. So you can really get in the nooks and crannies of your eye. Next step is mascara. I use the Fenty mascara, and this is literally the best mascara. I'd like to think that I've really mastered my makeup routine because I've tried so many products. I kind of know what I'm looking for. This Fenty mascara is literally like lash clusters in a bottle. I have very small eyes, so it's kind of hard for me to find lashes and lash extensions that I like because I feel like everything just ends up looking super heavy on my eye. But the fact that I can use a mascara and get like similar results. When I'm applying my mascara though, I kind of shimmy it back and forth while going upwards. That just makes sure that every lash is getting coated in mascara. That pretty much ends it for the eyes. I'm real plain Jane when it comes to eye makeup. I'll probably do a separate video with different eyeshadow looks, but I really wanted to focus on base makeup because I feel like that's what trips everybody up. That's what people have the most questions on. So I really want to get into detail on that. First, primer. I'm using the e.l.f. Power Grip Primer. Been using this for years. Absolutely love it. When I get a primer, I'm looking for it to be tacky so my makeup can stick to it. And I'm just rubbing that all over my face. Now with primer, you don't want to rub it and buff it into your face like it's lotion because you still want a light film of the primer on your face. You don't want to rub it in until it's nothing. Like, still want a little bit of a layer on your face. I'm gonna let this sit on my face for like 30 seconds just to get a little tacky and let it dry down a bit. Another pro tip for primer. Most makeup is either water-based or silicone-based. You can find this out with a quick Google search or just by looking at the ingredient list. If you're using a water-based primer, you want to use a water-based foundation. I'm using a silicone primer, silicone foundation. First thing we're gonna do is foundation. I use the NARS Light Reflecting Foundation in the shade MACAO. I use a flat foundation brush to buff it in. I'm gonna do a couple pumps on my face. Don't really need a lot because the coverage on this is actually pretty good. Get my brush a little damp so it's easier to, why'd I just try to shake the brush? So it's easier to blend. When I'm blending this out, I try to avoid under my eyes. We're gonna put concealer there and a whole bunch of other powder and stuff, so the less product caking that area up, the better. Now it's time for my favorite part of my makeup routine is the concealer. This is the Too Faced Born This Way Multi-Use Sculpting Concealer in the shade Maple. So I'm just gonna do like a little V right there and on the outer edge. Now, if I was going out and I wanted to make this like really full coverage, really like boom, you can tell I have concealer on, I would probably drag this down to where my nose ends. So I would just be dragging it down to here and kind of making a big, like a 2016 triangle type situation. Just a little on my chin and then a little on my forehead as well. I'm gonna let this dry down. Next step is bronzer. So I use the Juvias Place Cream Bronzer in the shade Amber. I absolutely love this stuff. This is really easy to work with. It's buildable. It is very pigmented, so it'll last you a while. But I just go in with a brush like this. I don't know the name to any of my brushes, so don't ask me. They're all random. They're from TJ Maxx, Sephora, Ulta. Like I don't keep track of names. Had a little bit on my hand, so it's not super pigmented. And I'm going to follow my forehead, cheekbone, and jawline. With my jawline, I'm gonna place the product where I want it and kind of swirl it and blend it downwards. Now, when I do my cheekbones, I'm gonna place it where I want it, but I'm gonna push it upwards. I'm gonna blend it upwards. A lot of people don't know the difference between bronzing your face and contouring. Bronzing is literally to add warmth back to your face. So this is a very warm brown color that I'm putting on. It's to make you look bronzy, like sun-kissed. Contour, that is for making your bone structure pop, if that makes sense. It's to add shadow and definition to your face. And another thing with contour sticks, your contour creams, whatever you use, they're supposed to be cool tone. You want something that's going to create a contrast with your skin to make it look like you have a more chiseled face. And then for my forehead, putting it where I want it, and I'm going to blend it back towards my hair. My face is bronzed, so we can put that away. We're gonna go ahead and start blending our concealer. It's been sitting for long enough. I'm using this flat brush. This is the Real Techniques 314. It actually says it on there, so that's the only way I know what it is. You want to blend out the outer edges of your concealer first. It's smart to look upwards so you can really get your concealer in those creases. You see I'm blending out the outer edges of my concealer first, diffusing that and blending that into my skin. Once that's diffused, then we can go in the inside and start getting up in the corners of the eyes. Sometimes with that extra concealer, I like to kind of curve it into my eye. And with that concealer, I don't like to drag it and blend it all over my face. I like to pat it in and blend it exactly where I placed it. Even with my forehead, blend the outer edge. And then we can start getting into the middle and the inner part of where I put the concealer. All right, boom, looking good. Now we are going to go in with a fluffy brush. Don't have a name for this one. Sorry. A fluffy brush, and we're just going to blend and kind of buff anywhere that concealer was so there's no harsh lines. Literally makeup, all it is blending. Now we're gonna go in with blush. So there's two blushes that I like to use. They're both by the same brand. This is the Juvias Place Cream Blush in the shade Pink Passion. It's like a really pretty hot pink. All their products are super pigmented and buildables. Obviously, the more you put on, the more intense the pink will be. I also have a powdered version. This is the Juvias Place Blush in volume 5. You get like a more softer, lighter pink, and then another intense hot pink. I really like this one. The crazy part about it though is I feel like the cream blush is more forgiving. When you blend it in, you have a lot more time to work with it. But this is pretty too. So let's go with the powder. What blush brush do I care to use? Let's start with this one. This is the Real Techniques brush 200. I'm gonna go in with that lighter pink. And then smile, and we're gonna put it right here at like the high points of our cheekbones. Now, depending on your face shape, that kind of depends where you want to place stuff. You can look up like face shape charts on Google, and it'll kind of give you like the gist of where to put your makeup. And just test it out, see what you like and see what you don't, honestly. I don't want to be too heavy-handed with the blush, but once you put your setting powder and everything on top of it, it kind of dulls the blush. So do keep that in mind. And I also like to bring some blush, like the excess blush on my brush, on my forehead just a little bit. We're gonna use this fluffier Real Techniques brush. This is the Real Techniques number 40. And I'm just going to blend that blush out. Now, my second favorite part when I do my makeup is baking. This is the Huda Beauty Easy Bake Loose Baking and Setting Powder. I use the shade KUNAFA. This is kind of like, this is more like a golden yellow tint to it. Obviously they have different shades. I really wish they would come out with a translucent version, because sometimes when I do like my no makeup looks, I don't want a colored baking powder. You know, this stuff is so messy though. Just gonna shake a little bit of that out and put on my powder puff and rub it on the back of my hand. This is good because when you pat it on your skin, you want it to go on there evenly. You don't want clumps of baking powder on your eye. Pretty much everywhere I put concealer, that is where I'm putting the baking powder. And I like to let my powder sit for like a minute or two. While this is baking, I'm going to use this big fluffy brush. This is from Beauty For Real. Doesn't have a name on it or a number, so not really sure. But I'm just gonna go over like my jaw. Just make sure everything is blended in. That's the number one thing. The worst thing you can do with makeup is have super harsh, straight lines across your face. You don't want to be able to tell where each product starts and stops. That's not what you want. Now it's time to dust this off. This is the Kala brush. Doesn't have a name on it either. We're just gonna brush off all that powder. When you have concealer and powder like in the creases of your under eye, just use like a small little eyeshadow brush and kind of blend it that one last time. Get out any excess product that's hiding in the creases of your eyes. For my lips, I literally just have on the MAC lip glass clear lip gloss. That's all I have on today. Usually for my lip liner or my lip combo, I'll usually do like a brown liner, and then I really like the e.l.f. Honey Talks lip oil. That's super cute to me, so that's my usual. We're gonna go ahead and set our face. I'm gonna use the MAC Fix It Plus. This spray, love it. It melts all the powders and everything that you use into your skin, so it just looks really seamless. And it's a misting spray, which I appreciate. To fully set it, I'm gonna go in with my Danessa Myricks Yummy Skin Liquid Blurring Balm Mattifying Setting Spray. Super long name. The good thing about this is that it kind of mattes your makeup down, but since everything I use is dewy, it gives it that perfect in between of matte and dewy. And if I turn this on, you can see my makeup in a little bit brighter lighting. But that's all there is to it. That is my go-to makeup routine anytime I go out. Depending on where I go, I'll add or take away things to it. Today I'm going somewhere pretty casual, so I'm not gonna do a full cut crease, lip combo, highlighter type of look. But if I'm going out somewhere fancier or somewhere where I need a full glam, I'll just adjust and flex my makeup to it. Hopefully this was helpful to all the makeup lovers out there. If you are a beginner, hopefully this gave you the gist of makeup placement and how to do your makeup when you're getting started. Or maybe you just found a new product or two you want to try. That is all I have for you today, and I will see you in the next video.